Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, um, good day, ladies and gentlemen. We want to welcome each and every one of you to SKTV. Welcome, welcome, and welcome, welcome to today's edition, to today's show. We want to welcome you um, this afternoon, this morning, this evening, wherever you are following us from. Welcome to the show. It's important that you help us share the show. We are in conversation here with Mr. Sheikh Kouyateh today. Um, Help us to share the show as we get into this all important conversation. Um, Welcome and welcome. Welcome to the show, each and every one of you. Please share the show. We want to welcome you to SKTV. Welcome to our listeners, to our viewers from around the world. Those of you from uh, Australia, Canada, Europe, Asia, um, North Americas, such as whether it's Mexico, whether it's um, the Americas, the different states, like I said earlier, Canada, and other parts of uh, the diaspora. We want to welcome each and every one of you. Welcome to the show. Um, those of you listening to us via radio today from Liberia, um, via Truth FN 96.1, we want to say welcome to this edition. We are playing host to Mr. Sheikh Kouyateh today. Welcome to each and every one of you. Welcome to the show. In a very few minutes here, we'll have the rest of the panelists um, on to join us as to get into this conversation. We want to welcome you as you're coming on. Help us to share the show. Invite someone. Um, invite someone. Help us to share the show. Those of you watching us from Liberia, welcome to the show. Um, Today is Sunday, June 26, 2022. We want to welcome each and every one of you to the show. Would like for you to share the show, like we said earlier, invite someone to this conversation um, concerning our country. As you are already aware, Mr. Sheikh Kouyateh does not hold back. Um, he's a straight shooter. Does not mince his words. Doesn't fool around. He gets straight to the point. Um, and he says it as it is, as we will say in Liberia. So let's share the show. Let's invite someone. A lot of things to cover today, a lot of things to talk about. 1 second, let me get rid of something. Okay, let's have you share the show, guys. Um, very, very interesting stuff going on. Very, very interesting stuff going on. But we want to welcome you to the show. Welcome each and every one of you. Welcome to each and every one of you to the show. Welcome and welcome. Um, let's share the show, guys. Let's invite others as we get started and situated here. As we start to, get into this program. Let's share the show. Um, Today, we're going to be covering lots of different topics, starting from the war and economic crimes scored to the governance in the country, to the opposition, um, what's ahead for Liberia. So we're covering large range of conversation with Mr. Sheikh Kouyateh here today. So we're not holding back on anything. The good thing also, we're not restricted into this conversation as to where we want the conversation to go. Again, we are on the radio in Liberia, Truth FM 96.1. We're not going via what we do, simulcast through the Facebook, but we're on the radio. We're connected because of some technical problem, but yet we're still connected. So that means they're hearing our voices and everything. They might not be seeing our faces as we do on Facebook, but they're listening to us. So we want to say welcome to our listeners and our viewers from Liberia. Those of you following the radio, the conversation will be starting momentarily here. Let me see what are some things that are going on that we need to take care of here really quick. So in the meantime, let's share the show. Let's invite others. We haven't even started sharing the show yet. We will get started with that in a minute. But a lot of things to talk about. Today's interview, so we're not going to bring you in other news. No, we're not going to bring you other news. Today's an interview. So we'll wait for tomorrow to bring you other news. A lot of things going on in other news as well. We will tomorrow. But for today, like I said earlier, we have a lot of range of conversation to have, a lot of talking points here with Mr. Kouyateh. We are looking forward to it. And as you are joining us, help us to share the show. Mr. Cannon will be joining us in a moment, in any moment from now. I believe Telvi is also going to be joining us from Texas. We say congratulations to Telvi again on her win. Sekou will be in charge of the other interview. I just playing catch up. Making up for last Sunday. But Sekou is in charge. So let's share the show in the meantime. Let's share the show as we anticipate a very, very important and interesting conversation here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's share the show. But again, a lot of things are happening in our country. Very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. We'll talk about some of them tomorrow. Very, very, very interesting stuff. So we'll talk about them tomorrow. But in the meantime, let's share the show. Let's get started with the show. Let's get started with sharing and inviting someone to the show. A lot of talking points. So let's get started. Let's get it moving. A lot of things to discuss. We are waiting on Mr. Cannon here so that we can get to the musical break. He will be here any moment from now. We'll get to the musical break. And right after that, we'll be taking our guests. Share the show, please, while we're waiting. Share the show, please. A lot of things are happening, so let's share the show. A lot of things are happening. Share the show, inform someone about what's going on here on SKTV. Um, so let's share the show, guys. I don't know they stay won't give me hard time, but I lie with inside. We inside. Let's share the show. Sorry, I had to take care of something from on this other end to clear it out. Um, in terms of announcement, tomorrow will be on. That's for sure. We have to cover up the Lofa County and what's playing in Lofa. We told you that everything was the beginning of last week. We told you that it was not a walk in the park, as some might think. It's not as easy as you see. Everybody's trying to make the case to the public. It's not as easy as you think. It's really, really tough. But again, we want to greet the Liberian people as always. We want to reference the Liberian people as the most important people on earth. As always, we've always said that. We maintain that. We also want to greet the Liberian women. We believe that they're the most beautiful women on earth. Um, that is another fact that we cannot debate. But let's share the show. Um, in terms of last Friday, the mental health and wellness, we are very, 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 very sorry that we could not make the show. We have back-to-back meetings. When I say meetings, I mean a very, very crazy weekend. Started from Friday, very crazy, all around the place. We were all over the place. So there is no way we could have made it. We thought we could have we thought we could have wiggle our way around, but once we got to 2 hours to the show, time caught up with us. So we thought to just inform you that it was not possible. We're definitely hoping and debating that one of the meetings would be canceled or some kind of call off would happen. Nope, it didn't happen at all. So that's why we didn't bring you the show last week. But this week, we promise to bring you the show. We do. We promise to bring you the show this Friday. And we have lots of guests lined up for the conversations. So we get really, really busy, and busy. So follow us this Friday. I think we should have Deccan Tea this Friday for us to conclude on what we're talking on. But we'll conclude with her. We'll also talk with some people. To be part of the show. So we'll be on Friday. But before Friday, we'll be on tomorrow, Monday. We will be on tomorrow, Monday. And we look forward to the conversation on Monday. We do. But again, like we've said, let's share the show as we await Siku to take over. We're making up for last week. So we await Siku to take over this conversation for today. And we will be bringing our guests in any moment or seconds from now. We'll be bringing our guests. Telvi should be joining us as well. I think we'll get to the musical break really quick. Let's get to the musical break. While we are with Siku here, we'll get to the musical break. I like this song. I'm not going to play Country Giant, but I'm going to play Who Wants to Be President because everybody in our country wants to be president. And again, listen to the wordings, but also look at the faces. Do they look familiar? Have you seen these people around? And some of them still want to be president. Uh, okay, I think I have Siku here. I think I have Siku here who is getting set up in the back. Okay, let's get to the musical break really quick. And after that, after the musical break, we have Siku taking over. Let's get to the musical break.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sonada dear boy. I'm glad with the great opportunity given me to introduce to you your president.
Babu want to become president. Muskiro want to become president. Poppy Dossa want to become president. Crazy man you see want to become president. Mr. Krede want to become president. Mr. Lala man want to become president. President you will sing you. Mr. Roro want to become president. Diego. Now how the president business will be. We suffering for some more. Mr. Lala want to become president. President you see want to become president. Mr. Become president. It can't be one angry. Let me tell you something. When they want to become president with Lala, they will come and say, as the president of the Republic of Liberia, I thank you people for introducing me as the president. The power invested in me as the president of the Republic of Liberia. I want to make sure I will bring the rest press down. Yeah. I'm going to pull all the fear press down. I'm going to bring the gasoline press down. Yeah. Kalolo want to become president. Yeah, you know easy again. You won't tell me say president will charge money eat up become president. Cross take up become president. And not easy. Liberia will show you. When they be president to them, they will stand and say, I'm Mason. I will bring down Moldova and bear you new Moldova. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to steal the government money. I'm going to make sure 7 get their back pay. I'm the president going to make sure that the AFL going to be paid in 2 weeks. I'm going to make sure the student going to get 12 buses. I'm going to make sure for the little children they say, I'm going to buy two plastic bags for them to poo-poo inside. Yeah. Babu, you see, want to become president. Mr. President want to become president. Mr. Dongo want to become president. Lala want to become president. Karen Ripper want to become president. You know, easy, so free, Liberia. Listen to the speech. As the president of the Republic of Liberia, I'm going to make sure I'm going to electrify the city into 1 day time. As the president of the Republic, I'm going to drive the whole of the sea and pay you people estate daily. And things go bad. Republic of West Wind going to be an estate. Potato won't become president. Mr. Kenju Man won't become president. Mr. Repasa won't become president. Mosquito want to become president. The girl you see say want to become president. Everyone won't become president. And you now when you won't become president. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you for sticking and staying with us. We also would like to turn it over and at the same time welcome Mr. Kana. Mr. Kana, welcome to the show, and it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Steve, and thank you, everybody. We started the show a little late today. We are having some technical problem. both in Liberia and also to connect with our guest. He's not in Liberia currently. He's the man travel a lot. The man a politician, so travel a lot. The man is in, I think he's in Turkey right now, so we're trying to catch up with him there. Also, we'll be on the radio. I guess we are already on the radio, talking about Truth FM 96.1 in Liberia. But we are not bringing on video because of some technical issue. But yes, the show is being directly relayed on the radio as we speak. So whatever you're going to be saying here today, it's not just for the audience on the Facebook, on the internet, but equally so people watching us from around the globe and people listening to us in Liberia. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. I want to encourage you to share the show. It's very, very, very important. Lately we have received a lot of complaint. People are complaining. Even some of my friends that live here in Arizona, they be like, "Seku, why we not seeing the link anymore?" I mean, they're not getting the notification whether or not we are on. So I want to encourage each and every one of you to go ahead and share the show. So that way, our friends who are not aware that we are on already, they too can have the opportunity to participate on the show. Other than that, I want to say thank you to all of you. Once again, my name is Sheikh Kouyateh, and this is SKTV. We are live from Phoenix, Arizona. Also in Liberia on Truth FM 96.1. So if you're in Liberia, you are crying for data business, no worries. All you need to do, go ahead and tune to Truth FM. So I think the guest is already here. We're trying to bring you on, Sheikh. If you are still there, just give me a thumbs up like this, then I will know exactly everything is good. Because I know you were trying to make some adjustment over there. Okay, I think he's good. So Steve, we will waste no time. Sheikh is not stranger to the Liberian people. He's not stranger to this platform. Sheikh was, even if not the first or second politician or political actors to appear on this platform from Liberia. Can you imagine? That was the time he was running for the senatorial position. And before Sheikh, I think after Sheikh, then Mohamed Dukle, then Dillon, then a lot of other people, started coming. So, I always do that. People that used to be with us from the forming stage of this platform, we always recognize, their effort to make sure to make, SKTV is what it is today. So we waste no time. We'll bring Sheikh on and start this important conversation. Mr. Sheikh Al Mustafa Kouyateh, how you doing, sir? Welcome to SKTV. I hope Sheikh got good internet something today. We're not hearing you though.
My internet's good, but I feel the mic here from your side is having problem. I don't know why. It's grounded. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, but how the light is so dark like that, man? No, there's no light. There's no light in Turkey.
No. Where I am,
You got to fix the light. Yeah, be fixing the light. Whatever the light reflection is coming water from behind you, that's the one that making it so dark like that. You got to fix that side. We can take you up, make adjustment, then we will bring you on. Yeah, try to make an adjustment.
And he also needs to put some kind of headphone or something on it. Stuff is from the that feedback is from the phone, from his phone. So if he has an earbud or
Okay,
ear
I
something,
think this one look much better to me. Oh no, it was. I think it was looking good that way. Yeah, right there.
okay. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, but I don't know. Folks, please bear with us. I want to encourage you to share the show. This conversation is going to be very, very interesting because the guest we have today is one of those straight talkers, and he does not miss his words. He say as is, So we really, really want to make sure that this conversation um, is followed by everybody. I'm trying to make sure that we got Sheikh well and situated. So again, Steve, before we get to Sheikh, uh, what are your expectations today?
Well, as public knowledge, Sheikh is not someone to hold back. I've listened to him
Okay,
on
I
different
think I,
occasions.
I
He
think I
doesn't hold
think that
back.
I think that plays good.
Yeah, but he also has to have a headphone or something.
Number sometimes Bluetooth doesn't work the good though. Number, do you have hold on? Yeah, I think this one looks better. Can you hear us?
Good.
No. Yeah, can you hear us?
Is it okay now?
Yeah, the lightning look good now. Can you hear us clearly?
Okay. That's good. I firstly let me apologize to the audience
Do you have
because my
do you
location
have
might not.
earpiece? My God, I don't know. Your voice is not coming in.
Yeah, he can let he log on and come back in, Mr. Kind of let he try. He can try that too as well.
Let
Yeah.
me take him off. Let me take
Yeah,
him off.
log out and come back in. That would,
Yeah, I
yeah.
just take him off so he'll come back in. Maybe that would be better. But that location looks good. Yeah. So I was asking you, what are your expectations?
Well, Sheikh does not means his word. I like him for that. He's a straight shooter. Doesn't fool around. Doesn't play the normal, as Donald Trump would say, political correct card. He says it as it is. Um, I respect people who say as it is. To be quite honest, I like people who say as it is because it gives us a sense of where you are, what you're thinking, and how you feel. You know, as opposed to other people who go around trying to find fancy words or want to be politically correct or whatever. Now, so I like his style of communication where he says it as it is. Some people might not like it, but oh well. Again, the fact is the fact. So I expect nothing but the truth coming from him, especially on the issues. Some people might think he goes personal, but he's someone who likes to hit, like we say,
She a man life.
who the
I don't know that Flomo. Make sure you're getting fat. They found that man will pay too plenty. Yeah, but let me see here. Let me get off a little for a second. Let me help Sheikh to get on here, okay?
most definitely. Uh, well, folks, as we are with Sheikh here,
Yeah. Still, I forget. So I just received the information at me even a while ago. Actually, we are live on the radio. So just now, you can also greet the people in Liberia because they are listening to us on the radio on Truth FM.
yes, we have been connecting with them as well. I got the information as well. Uh, Folks hanging with us, we are trying to get our guests on here, and very shortly he will be back on. We want to have this conversation. Don't listen to Flomo. Flomo had a meeting last night, um, but we anticipate nothing less from Sheikh, but the truth. But let's recognize one or two people really quick. You would have to write for us to recognize you to make sure that you are here, or make a comment. If not, we want to know. Arita, Zina, welcome to the show. Um, Mustafa Balo, welcome to the show. Osiata Limi, man. What's up? It's been a while. We see you. That Texas that you be hiding in Texas. Siata Townsend, welcome to the show. I used to live in Mexico, Seattle. I think you have your name on Liberia. Rosalind Dix, welcome to the show. Idora Clee, welcome to the show. Johnson Kula, welcome to the show. Joseph Conto, my man, where you've been? My man, we see you for a long time. What happened? You took a sabbatical or what? Musa Fufana, welcome to the show. Benjamin Jonah, welcome to the show. Benjamin Jonah, the people finally put face to your name yesterday on SKTV. Welcome to the show, bro. How's Minnesota? Um, See you in Minnesota soon. Um, Umetrio Kranga, welcome to the show. Margot Tippison, what's up, bro? What's going on? How the weekend? Sita Chelsea Norris, welcome to the show. How are you? Thank you for following SKTV and for giving us a hard time. Um, Let me pronounce the name. I don't want to push up this name. Gombe Torre, welcome to the show. We can hear you.
It's Kongbe Toure.
Gombe Torre.
Yeah, like people like put on the cocoa Makongbe. So they just remove the mouth from it and make it Kongbe Toure.
Gombe Torre, welcome to the
Yeah,
show,
let me help you a little bit with some of these people then. Kongbe Toure, Life Fofana, my own uncle Musa Sharif from Atlanta, Georgia. Johnson Mayburn Kula. Johnson Mayburn Kula, that's our own boy. They're making things happen right now at radio station on Truth FM. So yeah, so you may continue.
Oh,
Yeah, like the Mayburn over there, like Johnson Mayburn Kula over there. FM,
Chief?
the boss man said over there. They may be making things happen.
Chief, hello there. Oh. The 20 coming, what do you get for?
Ooh.
Johnson, now, what the man dropping for? The man got to drop him for now.
Man, you don't got to take care of the man.
All right, Mr. Kana, beg you, continue with the names. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah. So this guy, I was just communicating with Sheikh. The play is the signal is not too good. So he asked me because I told him earlier we do not talk to people actually while sitting in a car. But if that's going to be the last option, then we have to do that. So yes, indeed, Sheikh is here, but the signal from where he was is not too good, and that man is on a strange line. He doesn't know that area much. He decided to go down to go to the car to see if he will get a better signal there. And once he's ready and situated, we will definitely bring him on. So Love Hopkins, they got a lot of people here.
So, Love Hopkins, my cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't. But you know, some high beginning can be getting on hard time.
And this person too names. I mean, this person look like a strange person to me. We are calling all of you just to recognize your presence. That we really, really appreciate you being here. When you hear SKTV, it's not us. It's the people that come here, and most especially the way you conduct yourself in a very respectful, and we can't thank you enough. So that's why we sometimes take our time to recognize some of you. Vakamo Vasoko. This other I know that one, my boy with Ansu Dwalu over there. Ansu Dwalu, my man, welcome. Yeah, Mohammed Dollar.
Oh yes.
Welcome. Emmanuel Colley is here too. Oh, good people here. A lot of people here. Even the one that can cost me said here too. Welcome all of you. Even the one that they can really soak it to me sometimes through the year. Yeah, but I love them. I love you guys so much. You know. So Steve, man, go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead,
Well,
go ahead,
uh,
go ahead.
um,
All the good people in you skip one. They
who?
find you pay. They pay plenty.
Why you can't put yourself in another situation? You want me to put myself in a situation I
You
don't know?
you the one. They the both people there. Me
Why you
pa
can't put yourself?
me
Let
pa
me see. Where
me
need it?
pa
Where you start from?
me pa I don't know boy. I don't even know how to read people in this there. So just start calling the boy name.
Okay. Is that Noanti Sangare?
No artist Sangari, yeah.
Noanti Sangare. I can be reached on Facebook as Moses Moses. Feel free to reach me, any one of you. Um, let's go to Emmanuel Colley. Emmanuel Colley. Um, I think you call my cousin Love, man, because I won't get in trouble.
Yeah,
So she
already.
did me back. You
No,
did?
you can call it again.
Okay, I'll call it Fata. Love
Uh,
Hopkins, Love Hopkins, Love Hopkins, Love Hopkins. I call
I,
it.
I can't even go click on her picture and see who she is because the way you now call him fat and like
Okay, go do that.
that. I'm going to do what a man can do, but you're going to you're going to see her
No,
picture.
when you go there, send the Igwe picture, you see that say it can scare people. But they picking
You
it,
got
they stay
the
brave.
picture there.
Yeah, so picking it stay brave. They won't put talk. I can just be looking at it.
Yeah, no, Emmanuel qualified that one. That's true. Man,
Tired
been
of
with
picking
us
it.
from the beginning. That's true. I agree with that one. And you know, Uncle P here, the man from all the county.
Who?
Oh,
Oh,
Uncle
I don't
P.
want to get out of trouble.
Oh,
Uncle
Uncle
B,
P. Yeah, from man from
what's
all
up,
the
veteran?
county.
What's up, Chief? I think you celebrated your birthday the other time. Happy belated birthday. We didn't send a shout out to you on your birthday, but happy belated birthday, Uncle P, the man from all the county. Happy belated birthday to you.
But Uncle P to be on all from all the way back. From the time we used to be on the cell phone. The man Uncle P used to be here. So and then Mark out the guy here. We gotta bring him back.
They man a high, man. We gotta bring him in back.
No. I like him.
Yeah.
The man, the man a politician. You know, politician, and you know what they don't like? They don't like you to push them. When you push them to the body, they say, but wait, I got a man so I mean, you never call Vivian Neal.
Who?
Vivian Eastman. Ha.
Vivian been gone for a while, Mr. Cannon.
No. Vivian been around. Stop
Vivian,
it.
hey, I'm telling you, Vivian told us about it. I mean, 6 months or 1 year.
Vivian been around. I've been seeing her.
Hey, I'm telling you, Vivian took a sabbatical. I know that 6 months or 1 year. I'm telling
But
you.
when you're not even sharing the show, because when you share the show, I can see it. They can tell me, say, this person that's Cheryl, this person that's Cheryl, this person that's Cheryl, this person that's Cheryl. So the people they're not sharing a verse, I don't want to call it Anissa.
Vivian been gone for a while. So I'll answer Vivian. I will skip Vivian in.
But what about the other guy that can give me a hard time from Minnesota? When the one that can kind of start acting like immigration on us.
Who? Kim?
I don't know, Kim. Now when I'm troublemaker, all the troublemaker they are coming after the show because
Hey, you see, Vivian telling
let me tell you what I will do. I will not go to the inbox, but I will go click on the picture there to know who they really are. The me troublemaker there. Yeah. They are Kim person. Oh, but you didn't call their country needs it. They wanted the co-host there for the mental thing. You didn't call her name. They country me, I work on you.
I protesting again.
What about Regina Wilson? You didn't go come that one too.
I protesting again. My
All
own
the beautiful people here, we want to say thank you to all of you.
I say I'm protesting against Jagonti.
Why? Now, man, let me ask you.
Yes.
Oh, Amadou Kone, I don't know that one. From Holland. Oh, I thought Amadou Kone from Minnesota. I said, oh, Amadou Kone, welcome. Oh, you see? You see, Steve, you know, let me just tell you. A lot of people can be watching this show from behind. But we can see them, we can know them. Sometimes, like say, you having anyway, we have more than 100 people, right? It's hard for you to see everybody because Facebook can just show everybody's name. Sometimes will show you this person show, this person here, but at times everybody will just disappear. Oh,
yes.
I mean, why I will listen to you. You gotta call it by name.
Sekou Kamara, Yvette Sifos, Hassan
Yeah.
Bilady, Okim Leo, man. You're here, Jeha Leo. You had Kim had to down here. Uncle P birthday on July 1st. Oh, okay. Well, which
Oh,
you
in
see,
that video,
Vivian Eastman
so
said yes, it was
so
correct because I've been paying
what
attention.
kind
She
of
has been on the show for a long time.
she said you right?
Yes, I told you I pay attention to all the people that get on her time. You know, once they
Oh,
when they start dealing with all of that, then I know say that now, you know. Yeah, you said you have a question to ask me. You have something to ask me quick before our guest comes. Bring the guest on.
you know the man coming in now, but the signal is just acting up. This is crazy.
Did you have a question for me, Mr. Kane?
Yeah, I was asking you about your expedition. You talk about that, but the other question I have for you is that currently we have a campaign going on, and people are trooping into Lofa County. We don't know whether it will yield any dividend uh, from which end. I have no idea, but what I know for sure is that the people of Lofa County will. Okay, I think Sheikh is in the car now. Let him get situated for a second, then you can bring him.
Right.
Sheikh, give me a thumbs up if you are situated, but it looks like you're moving. Okay, I hope you're not the one driving. Hello,
Hello,
Sheikh.
how are you? Yes, my brother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, even though, but is the car moving, or I think you need to be
The
situated.
car is moving. It's moving. So
So you're on your way now to the hotel,
yeah, yeah.
but you're not the one driving, correct?
No, I'm not the one driving.
Where's the driver?
My friend is the one driving.
Okay, let the driver say hello to me because
He's
okay,
saying
I want
you're
to
on
make sure.
mission. Say
Okay, it's
hello.
good. I wanted to make sure. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you. I wanted to make sure you're not the one driving because
No.
I like you, my brother. Your safety is very important to me.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you very
So,
much.
Check once again. Welcome to SKTV. And
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure
okay,
being here once again. And I'm very sorry for the inconvenience caused by my location. My apologies for that.
all right, Steve.
And
Um.
Steve, my apologies, my brother.
Okay. So check. We normally do this, but let me just make a brief housekeeping here. So
Yeah.
for those of you who just joined, this is SKTV coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. We are also on radio, Truth FM 96.1 in Liberia. So the little housekeeping we usually do here for everybody is that you come here, listen to our guests, you respect them, you treat them with utmost respect. You don't do it. For some reason, I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of. Okay, so yes, we want to make sure we respect them. You can disagree. You can say I disagree. You can say that's not true. But you don't use all F words here. You don't use any uh, disrespectful language here. So when you come here, you can disagree, but we want everybody to govern themselves accordingly. I just want to say that. Sheikh, before we begin this conversation, I want you to take at least a brief moment to introduce yourself once again for those that don't know you. I believe a lot of people know you, but for
Okay,
those,
I'm Sheikh.
we,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm Sheikh Kouyateh. I'm Sheikh Kouyateh, two times defeated senatorial candidate in Massachusetts County, a former member of the ruling party CDC, who was with the CDC from 2004 to 2020. In 2013, I suspended my membership when the CDC lawmakers connived with the then UP lawmakers during the passage of 60 plus concession agreements against the Liberian people. And prior to the election, I was convinced by the president and former chairman Nathaniel McGill that come back to the party and what you want can be done. And I remember we had an agreement. The agreement where uh, when we win, we will have the speaker and the president pro tem on our side. We'll revise all of the will revisit all of the concession agreements that were signed against Liberian people. One. Two, we will ensure the establishment of a World Economic Crime Code. Three, we will ensure that all those involving corruption that we brought to book will set deterrent for corruption and injustice. And based on that, I came back to the party. So in short, I'm very pleased to be here. I'm just Sheikh Kouyateh, a former businessman, a political activist, and a politician now.
Hold on first. When you were introducing yourself, did you say two-time defeated Senator Kennedy?
Yes, that's how people like to hear it. So if you are defeated in election, saying it's not a crime because to me, they
So yeah, when you said two-time defeated Kennedy, who were those you ran against?
I
Let's say the winners.
contested 2014 where President Weah won, and I contested 2020 where Senator Dillon won.
You contested 2014 where against President Weah won, and then the senatorial position, and then you contested in 2020 against Dillon.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So some people are asking that we should let you get to your hotel, but we will continue the conversation so long we can hear you. But the only thing, do you have any kind of like earpiece or something?
No, actually.
You don't? Okay. But you're on your way to the hotel, correct?
Yes, I'm on my way.
Okay. Yeah, we'll continue the conversation. When you get there, maybe we'll get a better sound from you.
Sure.
Yeah. So you may mention that you are an advocate or activist for a war and economic crime school in Liberia. Why now?
Why now? Because the government in position today was a government that cried for 12 years. And I think the best architect, the best person or best people to establish a code, it should be those who have been calling for it. They know the importance of this code. I remember President Weah when he was a senator, and we were when we were in opposition. He stated to me that there is a need to lay foundation for democracy, and the foundation for democracy is justice and equality and accountability. And having won the election, and I know the Liberian people overwhelmingly elected President George Weah as the president of Liberia, and also the CDC as the ruling party, for the fact that they were all assured that CDC was the only party that was not ashamed, was not afraid to call on the then government for the establishment of war and economic crime code. So because the people concerned and a curiosity for a justice system, that's why Liberians overwhelmingly voted President George Weah. And I was among those people for 12 years that cried for the establishment of war and economic crime code. And when we won the election 2018, I continued to remind the government about its responsibility, about its promises. 2019, I continued the same. 2020, I continued the same. 2021, I continued the same. And I realized that the government time is about elapsed. And when we sit down and realize the elapsed, which government can we also caution? Because there is the only government, there is the only political party in the history of Liberia that overwhelmingly call for the establishment of war and economic crime code, and they have gone 4 years, going to 5 years. I think it's important, as said by the international community, that if Liberians want to have war and economic crime code, even stated by President George Weah, let him come out overwhelmingly, let him come out with their voices and say, we want this code to be established. This is why we are now planning to stage a major protest on the 26th of July 2022, where we'll be celebrating 175 independence celebration. At the same time, where Liberia will also be observing 200 years of resistance as people. So I think there's no better time than our Independence Day. Liberians have never had protests on Independence Day. Liberians have never assembled at a time where they have international guests where people are celebrating a national event. So I think this is the most important time, and the government will be able to give redress, because the government will be having guests in the country, and Liberians will be celebrating independence. And the question should be, how can one celebrate independence in the absence of justice? And that concern is what that is bringing us all out. Others have been doing it. We are not the first to call for war and economic crime code. The ruling party is part of it. My very good friend Imani Savis, Henry Costa, Phoebe Henry, a lot of Liberians, including Max Mixer, many Liberians have been calling for this war and economic crime code, including President George Weah himself. So I think that this is what it calls, And what we are involved with now is nothing political. And we kept informing Liberians that going to protest will be non-violence. Nobody going to carry any placard of insult to individuals. Nobody going to have any direct insult to the government of Liberia. We are only pleading to the government as Liberian people, because the government, by definition, is the people. So the people are now calling on government that requested it yesterday, that gave us what you demanded yesterday. And that's what we are going to be organizing ourselves. And I can assure you that Liberians have decided, when we come out on July 26th for the president to speak out, we will not go back home until the government speak about it. We will not go back home until the government make a commitment to us that indeed code will be established.
Okay, so it seems like you are trying to get the attention of the president on this issue, or you are trying to get the attention of the entire government. Whose attention are you really trying to capture here?
I, it is not about the attention of the president or attention of individuals. It is
No, I mean
about
when I say attention, I mean that you say you wanted to speak out. So I'm
yeah.
asking you now, who really, who you really want to do something about this?
When you do a poll right now, you realize that 85% of Liberians want this war on economic code to be established. It is
Yeah,
not just me. Every Liberian does. When you ask them, they all want it, but most of them are afraid to speak out because they feel that when they speak out, there are people who are from county or vote-rich county, they could influence the people not to vote for them. But I can tell you that Liberians, even those who are perpetrators, the one who the representative of this number 9 and number 10, Honorable Yeke Kolba, he stated that I participated and I want this code to be established. So imagine, even experts, I had meeting with some experts, they said to me, I want to be, I want this code to be established. And people always think that the code is just about those that participated in the war. This code includes economic crimes. And as you're aware, this government is also committing economic crimes. This government has created a system where we are at war with ourselves. I'm telling you that this code must be established, and the establishment of this code will serve as deterrent for good governance, will serve as deterrent for a democratic system, and will serve as deterrent for justice and equality in our country. Then the only way I think that this country can move forward, as many Liberians agree with me, that we must lay the foundation for justice. We must lay the foundation for accountability.
So before I go to Steve, so how much of a momentum that you have in this quest to protest for war and economic transport? I mean, are you getting the support, the needed support from the public? Because I mean, you can talk about protest all you want, but if you don't have the support of the people, then it won't take you anywhere. So I hope we get checked back. I think we are still having difficulties with this.
I,
Um,
I would suggest we have Sheikh maybe get to the hotel because this conversation is very
it's
important.
very important. Yeah,
It's, I would really suggest that we get to the hotel situated so we can get into
yeah.
this conversation.
I think we still have about 1 hour, so let him get there, and maybe we'll go over our normal time a little bit, just to accommodate him. But yes, Steve, he made mention of the wanting the president to speak, speak out, to say something. Speaking out is one thing, and implementation is quite another thing. I think if you ask many Liberians, they will say the president already spoken out, and he said he left it with the legislature to make a decision. And if you go back to um, the TRC implementation,
Hmm.
the government at the time headed by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, because she herself was somehow a person of interest in the by the IRC, by the how you call it, by the TRC. She did not do anything to implement the TRC recommendations. And for his part, President George Weah, initially he said they were going to, persuade the idea of war and economic crimes court. But then later on he said, we are all brother, we are all family. We should forget about this thing, let bygone be bygone. But how much of attention do you think, Steve, this protest will generate in Liberia?
Well, we've heard of lots of different protests, um, many of which, many of which were compromised by this current government. Some were thwarted, some were short-lived, um, and some the government used force to clamp down on protesters. And so the issue of protests in Liberia seem to have gained less momentum and attention because of what others have done in the past. Um, the question I would be asking, or where I would be focused, would be where would the momentum be generated from the general public? Considering if you talk about protests, the people could have that fatigue, whether it's for their own good or not. Other people have used protests to exploit the people. So we have to think about these consequences. Whereas protests is a vital tool in democracy or in politics. As we speak now, all around the country, the people are protesting for the most recent ruling of the Supreme Court. I even listened to the Prime Minister of England, Boris Johnson, this morning,
Hmm.
and he was making his case. Can you imagine? Against the ruling of the Supreme Court of the United States. So protest is very key, but some of the young people, some figures have killed protest. One of the things that made the CDC popular in the eyes of the Liberian people, that attracted the common people, like we say in Liberia, the market women, the Yana boys, the sellers, the vendors, the indigenous people, the country people, the Congo people, people that hurt, people that were affected by the war and so forth, was protest. The CDC had numerous of protests. Some we did not agree with it because of the way they went about it, but for the most part, they used protest as a tool to not only torture the alien-led government, but to send a strong message to the alien-led government. And so, over the past few years, we've seen how some have managed to kill protest and the importance of protest in the country. And so, how will he gain the momentum is the issue. It's the issue as we speak. So, um, I'm not doubting it, but I look forward to seeing it. Because if you look amongst Liberian armies, Mr. Kane, the zeal or the momentum for protest is very low. Very, very low. I'd be honest with you. To the point that even the church has gotten involved with the issue of protest. Whether it was Peter Cotto Brown, who was there before, who helped compromise protest because they were calling, unquote, unquote, the religious council or the council of churches or whatever it is. So this is problematic. This is problematic. Some of these things we don't talk about them, but these are issues that other people who will be in opposition, other Liberians who want to express their dissatisfaction would have problem with. So we want to see, and thank God he's back. We want to see how he will raise the momentum, or carry out the issue of protest. So I don't know. That's where I'm stuck. That's the pragmatic.
It looks like Sheikh is in. It looks like Sheikh is back. Let's see.
Yeah. My
Sheikh,
phone is
can you
almost
hear
charged.
us?
So I have to hang on the charger. Yes. How you doing?
Yeah. So, damn. So dark, like somebody who is, I don't know, but it's okay. If the voice can be clear, then we just continue like this. So yes, I was asking you. Okay, much better. Yeah,
Okay.
much better. Because the thing is, the light to be facing you, not the phone. Yeah,
Okay.
when you facing the light, then we can see your face. But again, it's okay if you don't have any other lightning place. No. Where you were right now, it was good.
I'm not gonna dark, man. Circle.
Yeah, I know you're that, but you want to see your face.
Now you see
Wait.
my face, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, but you can hear me, right?
Yes, I do hear you clear.
Okay. So yeah, so I was asking you, the level of support expected. Are you getting the needed support, and are you seeing the momentum within the Liberian community, and from the common people that they are ready to support this effort?
Circle. This is not about Sheikh Kouyateh. This is about Liberia. Every Liberian, including our international partners, want to see this country be grounded, having a foundation of justice. President Weah himself is aware. He said it, that Liberia cannot be better for us all when the justice system is not strengthened. And you know very well that we have a very weak justice system that undermined herself from the beginning of this regime, where the Chief Justice presided over the illegal removal of one of the associates, where the judiciary, where the legislature, has not been able to rectify those concession agreements that were signed against Liberian people years back, and they said they're going to make some changes. But what I'm saying to you, Mr. Khan and Brother Steve, is that Liberians have decided, and this will be an uncompromising process. It is not a one-day protest, not a one-day protest at all, not a two-day protest. As long as the government will not speak out, we will not leave the street. Even if it's one person, two person, but I can show you that the protest will be heard, and the international community will see us, and I'm sure that they will intervene. Liberians from all walks of life will come out. Do you know how many people have organized themselves? From every county, since I've talked about this thing the other time on Hot FM. People from Nimba, I call them almost every day. People from Grand Gide, people from North, people from Grand Crew. Every part of people are calling me saying that we are ready. You people are printing their people can afford contributing one to the different house. This is Sheikh Kouyateh. This is not what we are. We have no problem with President George Weah. What we are asking for, we want this code to be established to serve as deterrent for the future of our children. You do not expect to have a better future when you are not read, when you are not so. And better future relies on the better of today. So what can we do as Liberians to stabilize our country, to strengthen, to have assurances of the future of our children? We must be able to take decisions today that will benefit our tomorrow. I've been talking this thing when my uncle was alive. I spoke on this thing one time. He asked me, why are you never this kind of cook? I said to him, it is not about you, it is not about any other person, but I think that's the way forward to establish, to stabilize our country. In 1979, 1982, some people felt that before 1980, some Liberians felt that they were not sure well, they never had justice. That led to the civil crisis. That led to the coup d'etat. When the coup d'etat occurred, there was nobody could say, the then government refused to establish a system, an independent judicial system where people would be prosecuted for injustice against other Liberians. 1989, another group of Liberians came out to say they were aggrieved and they wanted justice. Then we went through the process, all of their cause. We elected president until as the president, again, that they wanted justice. Then we
the line is really, really, really
made a
broken.
recommendation
It's
that all
breaking.
those who were involved in atrocity. Hello?
Yeah, I think for some reason
Are
it's
you getting
breaking.
me now?
Steve, can you hear everything clearly? I'm struggling very, very hard.
He needs to have a headphone or something. It will make a
He
huge
doesn't have one. Yeah, so it will be good. Yeah, somebody asked Sheikh's uh party. We were asking. I think he talked about it in his intro. He talked about being a former member of the CDC, something like that. And I know very well Sheikh joining the CDC was not behind the door. It was not backdoor stuff. It was official. It was live. He got a lot of beating from a lot of people. Yeah, he got a lot of flogging from a lot of people talking about political lashes. And if Sheikh, I saw many of his picture where he has a photo of the president and the vice president, on the background in his office. So when he comes back, we will ask him. I think if we can get Sheikh on 100% today, we will redo the show again when he gets back to Liberia or when he's well situated. It doesn't matter where he is. But this conversation is something that we must have. So, Steve, what do you think? If Sheikh is not situated, we can continue having conversation. There are a lot of other thing that I
I
want to
would,
talk about, but we just because Sheikh wanted to come on today, we
I would,
decided.
I
But if
would,
not, folks listening and watching us,
I
would
would really
really.
hope we can have Sheikh on. Okay, he's back. Uh,
It looking much better here. Ah, now you're sitting down like a real Sheikh now. Yeah, at least the lighting is much better,
Thank you.
and you look much relaxed here.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So I want us to have this conversation. But again, if we can't cover everything today, we still bring you on, for another day to continue the conversation. So,
Yeah.
I want you to tell me that what you intend to achieve and what is the prospect of you achieving what you want. Because this protesting in Liberia now is like a joke. When the COP was established, there were a lot of good people, reputable people, government officials, people of substance that were part of it, respected people. But again, as they move forward, people start dropping, and then the momentum keep going down the drain. And in the end, PPP is now reduced to one man show. COP down one man show, which is Costa. Costa appoints, dismiss, write anything or say anything on behalf of CPP, and few little followers will follow the COP. Few little follower will, jump behind him. Now somehow it kind of reduced to one set of spot boyfriend girlfriend group and stuff like that. So imagine the momentum the COP had during the first protest, where you had all those senators, representatives, people of substance, they were all involved. But then nothing happened. Every single thing that they wrote on paper to ask the president, he did zero. Zero. And they were threatening everything. So, like you are doing right now, you will not leave the street. So I want to know what you really want to see you, I mean, the movement that you are heading, what you intend to really achieve, and what is the prospect of you achieving the goal.
Thank you, Sekou. The question is, what do you expect to achieve? Right?
Yes. Yes. And what is the prospect? Where you think you can make it? You think you can achieve that goal? What is the possibility?
Well, not this is not what Sheikh expect to achieve,
Yeah.
or what Liberia will achieve. What Liberia will achieve when the war and economic crimes code are established in our country. One, we will have a vibrant judicial system. Two, I'm not hearing you, Sekou.
We are hearing you. It's just
Steve,
like
you
the internet in that place is not actually is not helping at all. But we are hearing you. It's just like you're kind of breaking, delay.
okay, you were breaking.
Yeah.
So let me just tell you, what Liberia will benefit from this is there will be assurance of independent justice system in our country. Two, there will be deterrent for accountability and transparency. Three, our children will have the network. So I can call you direct. I can call you direct from here on my phone.
Yeah,
Direct.
I think we can. I think we can do that. We can do
Yeah,
that.
send me the number.
Let's do that. Yeah, call me on the WhatsApp. The one I sent you message to. Call me on WhatsApp. Yeah, I really, really want to have this conversation, Steve, but the internet is not helping. So let me call on the. Let me call direct. Let's see if that will help. Or maybe let me try to call him. I'll try to call you. Jack. So Steve, I don't know, because of the internet right now, you're not able to don't even ask you a question. Okay, Sheikh is calling. Let me take this call here. Hello? Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, you're live on
Can we
SKTV.
talk today without being video?
No, you good.
Good. So as I was saying, that what Liberia will benefit from the establishment of a war and economic crime code. One is it will strengthen our judicial system. Two, it will also strengthen accountability and transparency. Three, it will serve as deterrent for would-be criminals or would-be warlords or would-be economic criminals to avoid getting involved into economic crimes or war crimes. The reason why we continue to go through civil crisis or civil unrest is that we have not been able, as a nation, to set a deterrent for those who have been involved in it, to punish them. But impunity has been the way forward.
Let me stop you for a second, because what you're saying right now makes sense to me, but that was not my question. What you're saying right now, that is after the war economic crimes code has been established, and what will happen, the after effect. That's what you're saying right now. That's not what I'm talking about. Your protest, the protest that you are embarked upon right now.
Yes.
How would that protest achieve the goal? And what is the goal? Because the goal is, I believe, to make sure that war and economic crimes code is established. I'm asking you, by what means, and what is the prospect that you think, what makes you think that you will achieve that goal, that this War and Economic Crimes Court will be established.
When you say what made you think that you will achieve the goal, it is not about Sheikh Kouyateh.
Every time, listen, every time when I say you, not you in particular, you are hearing a group. Is, for example, if I'm speaking to a government official, let's say I'm speaking to the president right now, when I'm speaking of the government, I would say you, me, you in the sense, not you in person. Talking about the group or the people with the mindset, the people that follows the mindset, the people that want to they want to see the establishment of World Economic Crime Code. When I say you, not you, Sheikh Kouyateh. That's not what I mean.
I understand that.
Okay.
Firstly, Liberia has never had demonstration, because in fact every day is a protest. Liberians have never demonstrated protest on Independence Day. This will be the very first one. And the issue of War and Economic Crime Code, it is not an issue of allegation. It is something that the government in position today agreed that is a need that it must be established. So this is embraced by the government of Liberia, embraced by opposition political parties, embraced by the civil society organizations, and also embraced by every Liberian. And one of the assurances to let you know that this demonstration will be successful, it is not a demonstration to malign the character of someone, but it's a demonstration to set a foundation for the future of our country. It is a demonstration to attest to what the international community have been calling for. There is a need for it. The government headed by President George Weah himself stated that Liberians, if they want War and Economic Crime Code, let them demonstrate it by coming out open and demanding for it. International community have said over and over that we will not impose economic war crimes on Liberian government until Liberians themselves come out to demand for it. The government in position today, headed by President George Weah, demanded for it for 12 good years. And I can tell you, those who are called seditious or who are called partisans of the government will all come out that day overwhelmingly calling for it. And when we do that, international community, including Liberian government, we approved the establishment of War and Economic Crime Code. And when that happened, investors will feel very free to come back to Liberia to invest. Liberians who are in the diaspora will not have any fear anymore to come to Liberia, because many of those who are perpetrators are the ones who are at the hand of power. Our economic criminals, war criminals, many of them are empowered, and you cannot prosecute them when they are empowered. So when you have an independent court established according to the recommendation of Truth and Reconciliation Committee, the Commission, the TRC, we should be enhanced by the judicial or by the international judicial system here and by the international court in Liberia. I can assure you that even a willpower man will have rights, when his right is being infringed by a man who is a minister. I can assure you, a young girl who is being raped and the perpetrator is empowered or linked with someone empowered, that little girl will have justice. I can assure you that a blind man on the street who is hit by the car and the driver goes because he's empowered, now man cannot see, will have right to speak out. I can assure you that a police officer who have been paid $90 the salary, that will have the audacity to come out that I cannot take the salary, I won't work, I want the system to improve my salary. I can assure you that when we have a judicial system, our government official will be afraid to steal, to loot from the cup of the people. I can assure you, by the establishment of War and Economic Crime Code, those who have been ambitious for wealth, those who have been ambitious for crimes of violence, they will keep away from crimes, they will keep away from violence, they will keep away from thievery because of the establishment of the code. And I can tell you, we are about to celebrate 125 years independence. And how can you celebrate 125 years independence when you don't have justice? How can you celebrate 200 years of existence in a country known as the land of liberty when the government is not being accountable to the people, and even the people too are not being accountable to the government? I can assure you. I'm not saying that others have failed, but the interesting thing, something that you don't know, You mentioned about COP and other people. They are all part of this protest. This is not Sheikh Kouyateh protest. This is the protest for every Liberian, including Brother Henry Costa, Emmanuel Savis, Henry Fubis. A lot of people that can call by names, even political parties, including the ruling party, they are all involved in the establishment of this code. Every Liberian wants this to happen. And what will benefit? Liberia will become a free place. Liberians will no longer walk in fear. Liberia will no longer be threatened because someone is in position and they will not speak out. I can show you. We will succeed, and our success will be a collective success. It will not be a success by one party or one group of people. It will be a success by every Liberian. And I can show you, Liberians for all walks of life, those who are in the diaspora, the media, both local and international, our lawyers, our professional people, our traditional people, our religious people, the youth, the women, the disabled community, the youth, our race, our community, every Liberian will be involved in this. And I can tell you the success will be the success of Liberians, not just one group of people.
Steve, do you have a question for Sheikh Kouyateh?
Yes, I do have questions for Mr. Kouyateh. Welcome to the show, Mr. Kouyateh.
Thank you, my dear brother Steve.
It's good to have you on. I'd like to start off with what you stated initially, that you are a member of the CDC. I'd have two questions in one, and then I'll move to the one economic crimes court. The first question, which is two in one, why did you leave the CDC? What happened? Secondly, which party do you affiliate with, or which group do you affiliate with as we speak?
Thank you. Can I answer that now?
Please.
Yeah. Right. Steve.
Good.
Move a little bit to the so we can. Yeah.
My withdrawal from the CDC
Yes.
administration.
So we can see you.
In 2013, I suspended my membership with the CDC. When CDC lawmakers connived with former President Salif, UP partisan on lawmakers, where they passed over 60 concession agreements that were against the Liberian people. I spoke about it, I found about it. The party, the CDC, the then CDC, that I was a member of, could not respond to my concern, and I suspended my membership in 2013. In 2017, I had a meeting with President William, a then senator, and former chairman Nathaniel McGill. They said to me, Sheikh, we want you back. And I asked them, if I'm coming back, there are three things I want you to show me that will happen. And with these three things accepted by you, that will be implemented when we are elected as into power, I show you that will give you my all, and we'll make sure that we'll win the election. They say, what are your concerns? I said, number one concern is the 60+ concession agreements that were signed against Liberians. When we win, are we going to ratify those contracts to put in the interest of Liberian people? It's 100%. Number two, I said, do we still believe that there should be an establishment for the War and Economic Crime Code? They say yes. When we win the election, are we going to establish a War and Economic Crime Code? They say yes, it won't be immediate, it will be after 2 years of our tenure. Good. Number three, I asked, are we prepared? Even though now Madam Salif is close to us and she's not our friend, are we prepared to set precedent on her and our officials who are involved in corruption? Because for herself, she admitted the corruption 3 times when she took responsibility of corruption at the level of local. She took responsibility at corruption at the level of Ministry of Health and Finance. She also took responsibility at the level of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That is a clear indication that she had accepted that she is a perpetrator. Are you prepared to prosecute Madam Salif and our officials who were involved in corruption so that can serve as deterrent for our big government officials so that we're afraid to get involved in corruption? They say yes. After they gave me 3 commitments, I joined the CDC. I began to campaign for place to place. There's no record when I received $1 to campaign for CDC. And why did I leave the CDC? When we won in 2018, Ndumbusi was a fraud, was made LACC boss. I spoke against it, that we cannot talk about fighting corruption on one hand, then protect it on another hand. Let Ndumbusi resign. We pushed that case, he resigned. The then governor, Nathaniel Patriot, admitted that the mop-up money, the 25 million for the mop-up, that the Ministry of Finance was not part of it. It was done solely by him and his team. And the Minister of Justice and GAC came out that there was some malpractices. Because of that, I also came out as a then member at the time of the CDC, calling for the removal removal or resignation of former Governor Nathan Petrie. We pushed it, it happened. Then I realized, when the president, I wrote the party chairman first, that how can we talk about having a government for the Liberian people when you want a strap party and you have one party having 90% and the other two parties having less than 5%? That was one concern. The second concern was, we talk about establishing a War Economic Crime Code. Where are we? The third concern was, we have failed to fight corruption. How do we assure Liberians that indeed we will set precedent, for big, government officials? And when I realized that their communication over and over, I confronted, our President George Manawia. I confronted some top government officials, and I realized that they were not prepared to make any adjustment. And we were about to have a primary. I said that I will not take part in the primary for the senatorial election 2020 when those concerns are met. And I sent another communication to the party chairman that failure on your part to respond to my concerns. And since the party cannot speak on War Economic Crime Code, since the party can no longer speak on the concession agreements that were passed against the Liberian people, since the party can no longer speak against corruption, I am withdrawing my membership from the CDC in extension to the Coalition of Democratic Change. Yes. So when I did that, these were the reason why I left. And I left with no regret. And when I left the CDC, I didn't join any other political party. But today, I can proudly say to you that I'm part of a political movement called Liberia First Movement. It is not a registered movement with the National Election Commission, but it is a pressure group registered with Liberia Basin Registry. I'm still very pleased to be there because I know it has an agenda. Its vision was very convincing. Its mission very convincing. Its agenda very convincing, and its motive very convincing. So just to get you some information about Liberia First Movement, Liberia First Mission vision is one Liberia, one people, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Its mission is putting Liberia first. Its agenda is creating the Liberia we deserve. Its motto is together we can. These were things that touched me, and I can simply say to you, I'm a proud member of Liberia First Movement.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for the clarity and the context here. Speaking of the One Economic Crimes Court, I'd like to push you on that. I'd like to push back on that. One might say you sound very controversial and confused for the fact that you're calling for sanction on the current government, but yet on the 22nd of May, this is what you spoke, or this is what you said about sanctions in Guinea. Let me read what you said to you, and I want you to reconcile this to the public. These sanctions will have devastating consequences for the people, and most especially the humanitarian situation in Mali. The people of Mali already face the worst food insecurity in 10 years, with over 7.5 million people, more than a third of the country's population, in need of humanitarian aid. It is critical that these restrictions may further hamper people's ability to access humanitarian assistance and basic social services in a country where 70% of the food is imported and where 1.2 million Malians are facing a food crisis coupled with COVID. That is what you said on May 23rd when you were in studio. On May 23rd. I mean, June 23rd. So here's my question to you. How do you reconcile your...
I'm not being ready on June 23rd. It was May.
May 22nd. I mean, sorry about that. But here is my question to you. How do you reconcile your call for sanction in Liberia or on Liberian government official when ECOWAS imposed sanction on government officials in Mali and also in Guinea? You are speaking against those sanctions. And some Guineans, some Malians called also for ineptitude, for corruption on these guys also. How do you reconcile both of them?
Thank you. Firstly, I think you have to, as a media commentator, you have to be researchful, because when you say contradiction, one that I contradicted myself. The ECOWAS sanctioned the Malian people, sanctioned Mali as a nation. ECOWAS stopped every West African flights that were flying to Mali, not to fly to Mali. ECOWAS stopped every African countries to close their border on Mali, not government officials of Mali. ECOWAS, decided to suspend aid to Mali as a nation, not to the official government. ECOWAS sanction was not a sanction against the military leaders of Mali. It was not a sanction against the government of Mali. It was a sanction against the Malian people. It was based on that I spoke against that ECOWAS should begin to think as he read. I read exactly what he said. Liberia case, I never called for sanction on Liberia. I call on the international community to place individual sanction on President George Mani Weah and his entourage or his lieutenants who are involved in corruption. And I repeatedly said it for the second press conference, there is a need to have individual sanction on President George Mani Weah and his officials. So there's no contradiction in that. One, has condemned ECOWAS for sanctioning the country as a nation. Our expected of ECOWAS to have sanctioned the military leaders and those in his government. That could not stop up the West African countries for closing their borders to Mali. That was what I stopped. So that is not contradictory. That is exactly what I said. And the issue of the war in economic crime code, which you don't have much interest in, and you didn't ask the question, you say when I ask the question, and you flew straight to the issue of contradiction. I, Sheikh Kouyateh, did not contradict myself anywhere. I call on the international community, as I'm calling on the international community, not on your platform, to sanction President George Mani Weah and his government officials for crimes against humanity, for economic crimes in our country. And you are aware, my brother, Mr. Steve. Steve, you are aware that right now the image of our country is being denigrated. The image of our country, we Liberians as a people, we are very much embarrassed that our diplomatic passport was caught with someone who was involved in money laundering, that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Liberian government, the president of our country, constituted a committee headed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs to investigate and get back to him in 2 weeks' time. The Minister of Foreign Affairs requested for extra 2 weeks. We have gone 2 months. They are not able to come up with any report. Are you not concerned? That how can you have a government that doesn't have control over herself, that doesn't have control over agencies, over its ministries and agencies? Are you not concerned that you have a government that doesn't have control over who use our diplomatic passport? Diplomatic passports are given to people based on their approval by the President of the Republic. Are you not concerned that money launderers are using our diplomatic passport? Are you not concerned that Liberia has become a land of fear, that people are killed with no reason given? Are you not concerned that we have a system now in our country where people don't feel free? Steve, Sheikh is not a contradictory person. Sheikh is one person that he speaks his mind. He is not controlled by anyone. And I just want to show you one thing today, Brother Steve. The war on the economic crime code will be established before President George Mani Weah can be over come 2023. And I can show you that Liberians from all walks of life will come out. We may not all come on the same day, but we'll begin to come out on 26. And the court will be President Weah, government will come up with a statement, or international community will impose it. That's the only way we'll leave the street. If it causes us to be on the street for 1 year, we'll be on the street. But I can assure you that our war economic crime code will be established because we want to set precedent. We want our children, if we cannot have anything, we want our children to benefit from justice. This is why we will sold justice. This is why we will sold accountability. So when we sow it to our children tomorrow, they will reap or will have justice and accountability.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kouyateh. Just before I get to my last question, I want to provide some clarity and context here to our public, considering you question our ability to do research on this show. And I would take credit, or SKTV would take credit for this, that we would like to challenge any media, whether in Liberia or out of Liberia, in the Liberian context, that do research. And I'll have to prove that to you because we have to set the record straight here. France 24 published an article, and this is what it reads. The West African region grouping ECOWAS on Sunday hardened its stance against military-ruled Mali and Guinea imposed new individual sanctions, calling on both countries to honor timetables for return to democracy. So I want to clear the air here that the sanctions were not targeted on the country as you asserted. Rather, individually were targeted on these military people, their family, and other partners and group. As evidenced by that, also their assets were frozen and so forth. But let's move to the next question here. Before you
move to the next question, there's a need for correction. When it was individual sanction, why should Burkina Faso border be closed? Why should Cote d'Ivoire, Africa's border be closed? Why should Senegal border be closed? Why should Guinea border be closed? The only border that will remain open was the Guinean border because the Guinean government rejected the request by ECOWAS that every ECOWAS state should close the border against Mali. And secondly, I have business in Mali. What is it that there was no transaction for any other African countries, West African countries there? The only flights that were flying there were Air France, were Air Morocco. All West African flights, none were flying. When ECOWAS, when EU came up, when France came up with another sanction, Air France stopped going there. So let me just clarification. Now you can go to your further question.
Thank you for that. We'll also like to make clarity on it, and we'll move to the question. These sanctions, these moves were made to prevent money laundering, to prevent other issues, not necessarily against the people. But let's move to the question. Let's move to the next question here, and then we can get to Sekou. The next question will be on the issue of the protests. They One Economic Crimes Court. I'm a proponent of it. I'm a supporter of the One Economic Crimes Court. I think I want to be clear on the record. But one will also argue that Mr. Kouyateh, you stated here that Mr. Alhaji G. Kroma was your uncle or is your uncle, whether biological or by tradition or custom or whatever it might be. Did you ever call for the One Economic Crimes Court while he was alive? If so, hold on. Let me learn the question, please. Please. Because some of your critics might say, well, you waited for your uncle to pass before you call for this move. This is all political. You are looking to gain relevance for the 2023 elections or so forth. Or what is your end goal into this thing?
No, the question, you didn't complete the question, you just say end goal. So you complete the question. So that
that's how, Mr. Kouyateh.
No, I think he asked the question first, and then he asked the 2-in-1. He said,
exactly.
Did you ever call for War and Economic Crimes Court while Alhaji Kroma was alive? And what is your end goal now?
Thank you. Yes. When we were in opposition from 2005 to 2017, we called for War and Economic Crimes Court. I was part of that group. I was one of the strong voices calling for it from the level of the CDC as an institution. 2, when we won the election in 2018, I reminded the government that there is a need for the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court. Thirdly, in 2019, I stated when Alhaji Kroma was alive. Fourthly, I said in 2020 when he was alive. In fact, when the CDC was about to, when ACO was about to join the CDC, we were asked a question in a meeting that day, Chairman Molu was there, that you guys have been calling for War and Economic Crimes Court. Why would you want to melt your ACO now? That was whose political leader was an active member of the state of crisis. Chairman Molu, other people said that day that we're not going to allow ACO to join us because we don't want to be, we don't want to be linked with any war or the war of the former warlord party. And I reminded them that the NPP was given birth by the state of crisis by NPFL, and the MDR or MRD headed by Senator Prince Johnson was given birth by RNPFL. So I said to them that we must begin. You can even accept ACO, but let's establish War Economic Crimes Court so people who are outside, who are open to our government today, we see as serious-minded people will begin to prosecute ourselves. And people say it was not a good idea. What they did, they never took my advice. They rejected ACO from joining, and they said there was no need to talk about War Economic Crimes Court. And right after the meeting, the following day, I was on this station on Broad Street, owned by Aaron Colley, and I mentioned there's a need to have one economic scrum code the following day. Well, Alaji Kuma was alive. So I've been a voice. I've never changed my tone. And I can what you say what will what are we going to achieve, my brother? You want one economic scrum code. You want it because you want Liberia to be a civilized country. You want it because you don't want a reoccurrence of what happened in 1980. You want it because you don't want a reoccurrence of what happened in 1989. You want it because you don't want a reoccurrence of what happened in 2003. You want it because you don't want a reoccurrence of what is happening now. So Liberians want it because they want justice. Liberians want it because they want a foundation to be set for justice in this country. They want it because they want the judicial system to be strengthened. And the only way it can be strengthened is that we have an independent judicial system that will help to strengthen ours. And those perpetrators, many of them could be given amnesty if they give justified reason why they were involved in civil crisis. And those who were involved in economic crimes, that includes the present government, the past government, even the government before any justice government, even during the Juniper time, they must all go through this thing and be prosecuted. Today, Madabio of Sierra Leone, what is he doing? He's prosecuting former government officials that were involved in corruption, confiscating their properties and giving them to the state. Because of that, his officials are afraid to get into corruption. Madabio, since he took over, he has not been on any home. He still has an old house and he lives in the state house. He's set precedent. That's what we call leaders. If President we have begun the same thing today, Nathaniel McGee and others would not be building houses on water or on sea. They would have been focused to do labyrinthal work. This code that we are calling for, it is not a code to wish on specific people or specific group of people. It's a code to lay foundation for democracy. It is a code to free our nation from hijack of impunity. It is a code to establish that will be established to ensure the freedom of our land. The code will be an alternative for the land of liberty. And that is what we're calling it. It is not here better that's calling for it. The Liberian people are calling for it. And all those who started the process and you say that they fail, they never fail. That's why we are reorganizing ourselves, coming from nomenclature Liberia First Movement. It is not Costa First Movement. It is not Kouyateh First Movement. It is not Christian First Movement. It is not Muslim First Movement. It is not Traditional First Movement. It is Liberian First Movement. And I can show you, with your collaboration, with your support, we will all achieve what must be achieved for our children in our nation.
Thank you, Mr. Kouyateh. Just before, Mr. Kana, can I squeeze in a quick question?
Go ahead.
Really quick. Mr. Kouyateh says something. I don't want to skip this and not ask him that question. I think it's critically important to provide context to this. And thank you, Mr. Kouyateh, for providing clarity and context as to, people, some of your naysayers or some people who might be against the one economic crime code saying because you're from a certain tribe or a certain religion, you're pushing this agenda now. But thank you for providing that clarity. I wanted to piggyback on something you said earlier on about accusing former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and the CDC of conniving with the concession deals and other corrupt acts that went on during her regime, which prompted your maybe you said you put hold to your membership with the CDC at the time. Let me ask you this question, especially focusing on the concession deal. My question to you is, you keep mentioning the name of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai presided over the Senate. By extension, Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai ensured that the agenda, whether it was that concession deal or whatever it was, made sure it went through, whether it was through brown envelopes or whatever it is. What do you say about Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai, who wants to run 2023, ran with Ellen for 12 years? You seem to oppose the regime or oppose how the Ellen-led government led the country. What do you say about Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai and the Unity Party today that want to return to power? What do you say?
The first thing I have to say is that President Sirleaf was the president of Liberia.
Sekou left. We can't hear you. Oh, Sekou. We can hear the guest because Sekou left. Oh man, Sekou left the show. We cannot hear the guest. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get him on.
Are you there?
Yeah, Sheikh, can you repeat? Because we weren't hearing you. Sekou left the show and he forgot that once he left the show.
I said, regard to former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka, he admitted to Liberians. Former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka stated to Liberians that we had the opportunity to make this country better. We had the opportunity to build Liberia. We had the opportunity to love Liberia. We had the opportunity to make Liberia a great country, but we squandered those opportunities. He admitted to that. And that is why I always refer to him as one of the most honest politicians in our country. So, former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka admitted that their government headed by President Salif didn't do well for Liberian people. The opportunities that were created for our people to make our life better, to create about sustainability, to create inclusive wealth creation, that they squandered those opportunities. He didn't say Madam Salif squandered it.
Check. Please, I don't normally interrupt our guests, but let me interrupt you on this. You stated also here that President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf three different times, admitted to corruption. She took responsibility. So what are you saying? Are you excluding?
What I'm saying, don't understand. I'm saying to you now that former Vice President admitted that it's squandered. So because I wrote a poem entitled The Squanderer, and I refer to former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka as a squanderer. And this is why I refused to join the CDC and the CPP when I left the CDC. Because it made no sense to me to join people who are already admitted that yes, we have opportunity to make it great, but because of our greed, because of our selfishness, we squander those opportunities for ourselves, and that's why I didn't join them. So this is not a discourse where I'm giving the defense. I'm giving the defense for former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka. I don't know why his name has to come into the discussion now, or why Kumi's name is also not coming in the discussion now. But what I have to say to you that
my man, stop being a crybaby. Every name will come on here and you will answer to every politician. So any name will come here and you will answer. You don't have to. Listen. You know, if Baka's name comes up, you can choose to bring anybody's name out, but the interviewer will choose to bring any name out if it concerns them. So it's up to you to answer or not to answer. You can choose to say, you know what,
I said, Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka admitted that they had opportunity to build Liberia. They had the opportunity to install or restore love among Liberians. They had the opportunity to make Liberia a better nation, but they squandered those opportunities. He didn't say Madam Sirleaf squandered them. He said we squandered those opportunities. I think he was being very honest with himself. And because of the honesty, and I can assure you that I think Mr. Kouyateh cannot join the UP. Because when I join the UP, I'm calling for help to back on Liberia. But guess what happened? We jumped from the frying pan to the fire.
So Steve, you done?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Mr. Kouyateh. As I turn it over to Sekou,
did you understand the last thing he just said?
Yes. I just want to say
when
thanks to Mr.
Kouyateh. We jump from the frying pan to the fire. It means that as much as the Unity Party and Drippy Boaka then squander opportunity, in as much as they were bad, we left them and jumped and brought the CDC in. That's why he said we came from the frying pan to the fire. That means the situation is worse.
I wanted to say thank you to Mr. Kouyateh for answering the question. The reason former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka's name was brought in because you talked about the Unity Party and how they messed the country up or corruption or whatever it is. That's why he was brought into as the second man in command. It's not trying to drag any politician or bring any other person into this conversation.
Yeah, but thank you. No, Steve, me, I got problem. Me, I got problem with Mr. Kouyateh because he said he doesn't know why Boaka's name was brought in and Cummings' name was not mentioned. If you want us to redirect the conversation from the from the War and Economic Crimes Code and talk about political actors in Liberia, definitely we will bring everybody in. There's no way you can have political discussion in Liberia today, especially if we're speaking of presidency, without mentioning Komis, Boakai, Wia, before any other political leaders. So yes, I think still clarify the reason why he mentioned Boakai, because you talk about the alien government, and by extension, uh, Boakai is a representative of alien government. He was the second person in command for 12 years, regardless of the fact that the president carries um, the glory and also the blame for everything. But every member of that government, especially those who stay on to the end, bear the same responsibility as the president, even though the president is the one that carrying the lion's shares of the blame. Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you thank you once again, Mr. Kouyateh. I'm so not happy for the fact that we not have enough time because of the communication problem. But I still have a question for you on this issue of protest. You are mentioning pretty much some of the guys that were involved in previous protests, and some of the guys that you are also mentioning here are people that never work together, and it seems that they will never work together. So when you say, okay, this person, that person are all part of this, are you saying this they are part of this by default, or you have any form of communication with these people and they told you that yes, indeed, we are part of this protest? For example, you mentioned Heron Costa, Fubi Heron, and Maya Savage, and other people that you mentioned. You think they are part of this by default based on their advocacy, or you have any formal communication with them that make you believe that they are part of it?
Let me just clearly state this, even though we had a conversation, a private conversation, but I know it was not a private conversation against the state, and it was not something to undermine our democracy. I had a discussion with Roberto Emmanuel Savis, and I said to him, this is what we're about to do. We're about to continue what you guys started. He said, Sheikh, I'm into it. I spoke to Brother Max Mixer in UK. He said, Sheikh, I'm into it. Yesterday, I saw Brother Harry Costa. He said, Sheikh, I'm into it. I have spoken to a lot of people, even people in the diaspora, people that have online TV like yours. Many of them have said to me, Sheikh, we are in for this. The only way we can have a better Liberia, that our country can become once a land of liberty, once again the land of liberty, is that we have to have a strengthened judiciary system. So everyone is part of it, and not just those whose names have been mentioned. Their names that have not been mentioned, they also show us that they are part of it. And in fact, when I appeared on Stone and I spoke about this thing, I appeared on Hot FM, I spoke about it. I appeared on Truth FM, I spoke about it. Liberians from all walks of life were saying there is a time for this, and we all need it. See if I can tell you for sure. Over 95% of Liberians want this to happen. Even those who are referred to as ex-fighters, ex-combatants, former warlords, they want this to happen. They are saying, let this one devil that coming out, let the devil come out now so we can see what will happen. Everyone wants it.
Okay, so let me let's stay with the protest. You said this protest is not gonna be one day protest. And in Liberia, from our experience, if you stage a protest, first of all, you need to obtain a permit in Liberia for the most part. And even with the permit, there will be a timeline wherein the government want you to disperse after a certain time. If you fail to do so, they will come and tear gas you. And when you say you're not going to leave the street, so do you guys intend to stay on the street days and night, or you will go out protest in the day, in the evening you go home, and then the next day you come back? And besides, if that's going to be the case, how ready are you financially to maintain all those people? Because I know people, when they're protesting, people always we need food to eat, we need water to drink. Some people even need transportation to go to the protest site. Secondly, is this protest going to be only in Monsuaro, in Morovia, Monsuaro County, or is it going to be decentralized to other counties?
And let me first clarify something. This is a different protest. Liberians are already protesting. We have demonstration on the 26th of July onward. We will not tell you when we're going to stop, but I can assure you there will be a day and night issue, 24 hours throughout. And we will be there. And I know that the government of Liberia will not tear gas us for any reason. International community, we have written them, we have discussion with them, and they assure us that all we need from you people come out and ask for it. Even if it's one Liberian that is coming out, come out, remain there, and we'll speak and make sure that happen. We do not need to take permit from the Ministry of Justice. We do not need to take permit on our law from the Ministry of Justice. We are going through a system that doesn't require permit. The Ministry of Justice is aware that the justice system is anti-threatened. This is why, even during the case with the CPP, the Minister of Justice had issue with the SG that things were not going rightly. I can assure you that we will not write a letter or communication to the Minister of Justice for any permit. And we'll be on the street 24 hours, we'll be on the street for a month if the person doesn't please speak. But I'm quite sure that Liberians will come out. And I can tell you, if President Weah allows it to go for a longer time, he'll create more problems for himself. The sooner, the better for us all. I can assure you that Liberians that will come out that day, there will be no violence. They will have nothing to stone anybody. They will not attack anybody's personality. They will all be calling for, give us back, give us what you demanded yesterday. That's all we want. And we will all be on our t-shirts. I am a victim of war and economic crime code. Somebody said, Sheikh, you don't need the guys to bring bandits among you. There's no bandit that will come among us. Those they call Zogo, they were no Zogo before the war. The war made them Zogo. Economic criminals make them Zogo. Their teacher was stolen from them. It made them go in the ghetto. Some of them were used as tools during the war. They got into the ghetto. They too will come out asking for the establishment of war and economic crime code because they want their teacher to be restored. I can assure you that Liberians from all walks of life will be out on July 26th, not celebrating independence, but demanding justice. I can assure you, even you, Sekou and Brother Steve, will be out there on July 26th, not to celebrate July 26th because you know that you cannot celebrate independence in the absence of justice. I can assure you that Liberians from all walks of life in every county will come out that day to demand for justice. And they will go for superintendent offices, to administrative offices to ensure that the government, headed by President George Weah, declare the establishment of war and economic crime code. I know that when we're in opposition, we have lawmakers, more than 20 lawmakers. None of the lawmakers ever proposed the establishment of war and economic crime code. One of the lawmakers, Akaras Gray, Honorable Gray, was even on the street with casket when we're demonstrating calling for one economic crime code. I can assure you, we will not go to lawmakers and say establish it. This doesn't require lawmakers. The president has a veto power to establish it. And President George Weah will establish it. Liberians will be out to ensure that it's established. When it is not established, the mysterious death of our people will continue. When it's not established, the continued looting of our coffers will continue. When it's not established, insecurity being wiped out, our country being wiped by insecurity will continue. If it's not established, justice will never prevail. I can assure you, war and economic crime code will be established during the tenure of President George Weah in 2020, from now to 2023. I can assure you that, the grace of God.
Yeah, but the other part of the question.
What was the other part?
The two more part of it. The first one is, how financially are you to maintain? Let me finish. To maintain the people on the street. Also, is this going to be just concentrated in Monserrado or in Morovia, or is this going to be decentralized in other part of the counties?
Sekou, as I'm talking to you right now, Liberians have been calling that we should begin it today. They said, Sheikh, let's begin it now. In every county, people in the diaspora are calling me from Europe, from Asia, even from America, are saying to us, let's begin now. We said, no, let's start July 26th. The Liberian people don't want money to come out. They don't want water. They want justice. They have been fooled. They got on the street. They say, you came, Mama, you came, Papa. We vote for you. They thought that would have appeased warlords to give up peace. They came out, they said, you know, you don't know both, we'll vote for you. They felt that would have appeased the economic criminals to give up justice. But now they realize that those will not give them justice, will not give us justice, Liberians have decided to come out. No one will be paid, and no one is giving them money. There's no budget for this. Liberians are coming out, they are printing on their own t-shirts, give us back what we want. Some of them have it on their t-shirts, a must war the economic crime code. Some of them have it on the t-shirts, independence without justice. There's no independence without justice.
So that means
some of them have it on the. I'm telling you now.
So that means no, yeah. Listen now. So that means the people that are coming out, you're not going to be responsible for anything. Everybody's going to be responsible for themselves because they have passion for this.
No, we send money. I'm just sending money. The monetary part, they don't expect money from me.
No, not money. That's why I say when I say you financially ready, it means that to provide food and water for the people because you say this is going to be you say going to be endless because it's not going to be 1 day or 2 days.
Everyone is coming with food. As we come on the street, those who get hungry and those who have eaten will come back and join the group. The others who are not eating will go back home to eat and come back. It is not a rally to raise funds to say, oh, we want money to do this. We will come out openly and freely, voluntarily. And I can show you this government will establish one economic crime code in this year. I can show you that 100% secret.
Okay. So what about the so you say it's not going to be only in Monrovia, right? It's going to be everywhere.
It's going to be everywhere. And I know even you, Sekou, and Brother Steve will also be part of it.
I don't know about that. You must have now had that discussion.
Myself, but Steve has said it clearly.
Yeah. Me, I'm not part of anything.
And I know that Steve on that day, Steve will protest even on your station and remind Liberians.
No problem. Let me tell you why I am not part of anything. I've made it very clear. I don't trust politicians. And everybody that involved with the issue of war and economic crimes code is being fully politicized. And every action that we have seen has political undertone. And every political leader that have spoken on this issue, they are doing it for political reason. And some of the people who are in the vanguard of this, I don't know how far yours is going, but majority of the people that have been in it is being purely politically motivated. There's no genuine quest to it. They know very well what they are doing. That's why I don't waste my time. That's why I don't follow anything that I know that's not genuine. So majority of the people that have been on this thing, either angry citizens who wanted position, they didn't get position, either people who have been marginalized by the CDC, that they were with CDC the last time, and they decided, and CDC gave them no mind. Then they decided to go against the CDC. They were doing it here. Many of them that were in America here, they were doing it. They were in the vanguard of every protest against the government. It was not because they really want to protest. It was not because they really want to see a better Liberia, but to get the government attention or to get back at the government because you say with nobody, but we'll put pressure on you. That's why I have been very much reluctant to say, you know what, let me conclude. I'm just telling you the reason why. So, because of that, I have actually decided not to follow any group of people coming here with this protesting war crime because there's no genuineness in the people. Whenever I see the need, trust me, when I get involved with anything, I don't do halfway. I do 100%. So that's why I'm still reserving myself until I can. I mentioned this. The person that I've seen that is 100% with this thing and in it for justice is Imaya Savage. Yours, I'm just getting to know how passionate you are about this, but I will see. We'll see. We brought Imaya Savage here before. We talk about it. We discuss. I know he's genuine. I know he wants to see justice because they have gone extra miles, spending their own money to make sure they recount some of those things that happened, speaking to our victims. and also risking their own life in so many ways. But political leaders, politicians, seditious, oppositions, people that I've seen, many of them are not genuine. They're just doing it for political reason or for attention. Let me finish.
Let me correct you.
No, let me finish. Let me finish. I will give you all the time in the world. Let me just conclude. So, speaking of me being a part, no, I am not, and I don't intend to be a part of any other grouping in Liberia until I see the clarity and genuine in the people before I can follow them. So you can go ahead and correct me.
Thank you, Sekou. Let me just correct you. Sekou, when 2006, 2007, 2008, 2017, when people were on the street calling war or economic crime code, were they angry citizens? When CDC the one in power at the time? Sekou, you're now saying that you don't see any reason when people should call for it. You are saying that there's nothing genuine about calling for it. I'm just gonna mess with your wife. You know what she said to me? She said, as I hear my husband speak on these issues, I'm concerned because many of us in the diaspora are not here because we want to be here, but we are afraid to go back because our perpetrators are in the hand of power. Sekou, are you telling me that Sheikh Kouyateh, do you have any record? I want to ask you a question, Sekou. Do you have any record that Sheikh Kouyateh started something and it was not genuine? Do you have any record? You have no record.
No, do you want me to respond? Do you want me to respond, or you say something?
Sekou, you said initially that all those, there were no exceptional. You said all those that started the protest, none of them were genuine. And lastly, you have come to call on name, after seeing all those that did it, where Emmanuel Sabis and other people did it, and you said they were not genuine, and you're coming back to say...
I said majority of the people. I didn't say all those. I said majority of the people that be involved with it were not genuine. I said that.
I'm saying this to you today. Sekou, I'm saying this to you today. Liberians are not waiting for you to agree or to accept that there's a need for it. But Liberians will show to you that they will begin the process and you'll join them. You have admitted that when you see it serious, then you join it. I can show you that we'll begin on July 26th, and on July 27th, July 28th, you'll come out and begin to talk about it and join it. We encourage you, think wise, and think twice, and think for the future of our country. When we ask a question, how do you expect to celebrate independence in the absence of justice? Sekou, if the justice system is genuine, if it is something that is dependable, or it is a system of credibility, I remember you, Sekou, crying on the removal of Cabinet Janet. He said it was illegal. Sekou, if we had international criminal court in Liberia, that would not happen. If you have no reason to say there was no reason, these are one of the reasons. Or some of the reasons. Sekou, Liberian people, you are in Liberia, in America. Many of them are walking on the street with insecurity. You can be stopped anytime, by anybody, anytime, killed. Nothing comes out of it.
Okay.
I can say to you, as one simple question, Sekou, do you have any record on Sheikh Kouyateh to be involved in anything politically that he did continue?
Okay, so you want me to talk now?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes when people speak, it's better to listen so you can get a clear picture of what they're saying, and then you can respond to it. I said it very, very clear, and I maintain majority of the people that be involved with the so-called war economic crimes code are not genuine. And I said it very clear. I said, yours coming in public just started, and we are watching to see how far you're going to go with it. We will see the genuine. We'll see how far you will go. We'll see, how well you mean for Liberia in this quest. So it doesn't mean that what you are doing, you don't do it. I'm not discouraging you. I'm not going to discourage anybody who intend to join you in this quest. Steve, right here, my brother here, he been a proponent of this issue from the get-go. He talk about it all the time. But I am saying I'm not convinced because I know Liberian, I know politicians. That's not just you. This is not about you. I'm not questioning your credibility. I'm not questioning your intention, but I'm looking at what had happened in the past. I'm judging people that have been involved. I've seen seditions that were fighting, that had casket on their hair for World Economic Crimes Code when they took the leadership, they care less about it. United Party people that had reservation about World Economic Crimes Code, about the implementation of the TRC recommendations, people that had resentment, they fight against it. They are now today the proponents because why? They are not in power. They are just involved with it simply because they want to embarrass the government. They want to give the government, a tough time. They want to make the country look ungovernable for the president. So those are the people that I'm referring to. People who today they are in it, tomorrow they are not in it. I can't follow those kind of people. That's why I'm saying consistency matters to me. Consistency will show me that you are serious. That's why I say you started, whatever you just started, is a good thing. Maybe you've been doing it before in the past, but to come in public and also as to present yourself as a leader for this genuine quest is a good thing. But I'm not part of anything until I see the level of seriousness. That's what I'm trying to say. But again, Sheikh, like I said earlier, we had serious problem with the communication issue. Maybe we can go for another 10 minutes maximum. One more question I want to ask, then I'll go to Steve. So when you say you're starting this thing on July 26th, on the Independence Day, what do you say to those who will say is a form of disloyalty to your country? Some people will say, no, you're not actually a patriot because how will you go and start a protest on the Independence Day of your nation? You could have done this. You could have done this another day. You could have started this a different day, but not on the Independence Day. What do you say to those people?
Sego,
Yes, sir.
Liberians from all walks of life. Liberians from all walks of life. We appreciate that we are coming out. We have celebrated over 174 Independence Day without any interference. We have celebrated 174 years of independence without any interference. We celebrated lives here where our people, many people were killed, mysteriously disappearing in this country. Liberians will be very happy. The only day of independence that we are calling for justice. They will say to their children tomorrow that we're able to demand for justice the day of independence, the day we got independence, and I believe that same day we'll have justice for our government. And I can show you, no one will say that the act of coming on independence is demanding for justice for our people, for our nation, for our children, that will say it's unpatriotic. Every Liberian will see as a nationalist stance. And I can show you, Liberians from all walks of life will be out that day. They may not be in crowd as you think, but they'll be in their homes, boycotting it, and they'll be calling for this. They'll see Liberians will come out. You'll see the next day how more people will come out. I can tell you, in 1 week time, the street of Monrovia and other cities in Liberia will be full with people. And it might be late if the president wants to go for it. Because I know that President George Manuel will listen to the people because he himself wanted it. He himself has been calling for it. And I know that he wants it to happen. All he asked, he said, Liberia should come out. When you come out, that will be your justification for me to say, let's establish it.
Okay. Steve, back to you. Steve, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I was on mute. I have two questions for Mr. Kouyateh as we wind down this conversation. The first question I would like to ask Mr. Kouyateh, it's in response to he stating earlier on that he's twice a defeated candidate in Monserrato. I like the fact that he admitted to that. and he owns onto that. My question to him would be, what are some of the reasons, maybe few reasons that made him not to win twice? And does he still have any intent of running for any office anytime soon, whether it's 2023 or beyond?
Thank you, Steve. Steve, in 2014, when I contested for the Senate, we had a health hazard in Liberia. We had Ebola. I had a choice to seek the seat or to seek the livelihood of our people or the safety of our people. I choose to focus on the safety of our people. I was a candidate for Massachusetts County, but I campaigned. I went from county to county to provide assistance for people. I hired nurses, I hired health practitioners to train our people how to take care of themselves, how to protect themselves, how to protect the sick person, and how to even bury the dead. That was my goal in 2014. That's how I lost. I didn't lose because I was not popular or people never wanted me, but I was not focused on it. And I can tell you, no one has a record where Sheikh Kouyateh printed to say vote me in 2024. 2014, I was focused on the issue of Ebola. And I insisted, I contributed aloud. My NGO, East Save International, spent over $100,000 by hiring medical practitioners, by providing assistance, medical assistance for people. And I even went further by discussing with global community in partnership with USAID, and I convinced the traditional council to talk with them, to have a meeting with them, where they agreed that they should find a land for our traditional people so they can bury our people. But then there was cremation of our people who were killed, who died in the process. They were burned. That was not a custom that we were used to. So my concern was, we need to bury our people. We need to dignify the dead. And to tell you something, we succeeded with that. And interestingly, before saying you vote Sheikh Kouyateh, even though I was just focused on the safety of our people, how to protect our people, I was among the big five. In 2020 election, I was also not focused on the senatorial seat. There was something bigger than the senatorial seat. The government was about to hijack or undermine our democracy in Liberia, was about to hijack stability in our country. What the president was calling for a referendum. The referendum was not aimed to provide to provide dual citizenship. The referendum was aimed for term. The president was trying to copy from former Guinean president Alpha Conde and the present Ivorian president Alassane Ouattara. So he quickly said, when I was with the CDC, that there's a need to go for 16 years. So the 16-year calculation was this: if we have gone for a referendum and a referendum pass, then what will happen? The first 6-year President George Weah will have a bonus for him. Then by the pass of referendum will have allowed him to go for this election, and you want to force it by all means. I know he cannot win the election anymore. Then get the first 5 years and go for another 5 years. So the calculation was 16 years. So 5 plus 5, 10 plus 6 or 16. So I was focused on it, and I went from place to place. I talked to Liberians, every walks of life, and said to them, you don't have to vote me as a senator of Massachusetts County, but vote for a teacher. Protect the teacher, say no to referendum. The referendum was not something that the people were informed about. It was something designed with the photo President Weah was put there. When we saw reduce the president from 6 years to 5 years, representative for 5 years, 6 years to 5 years, and nothing was there, dual citizenship. So I said to Liberian people, say no to it. And guess what? I overwhelmingly won. Opposition, the CPP, came out later to join us. They even want to quote 1 month election. Liberians overwhelmingly voted to say no to referendum. I lost the senatorial seat twice, but I won twice. I won by saving the life of people during the time of Ebola when people needed us most, and I also won by saving the future of our children where President George Weah plot to undermine democracy. Well, the Liberian people overwhelmingly voted to say no to referendum, and I can tell you today that I'm very much happy for all of my decisions. When I say total defeated senatorial candidate, people feel that when you say you fail, it means that you are unsuccessful. The most successful people are those who have failed, because if you are not failed, you will not know the important success. Success is not defined by one ability to achieve it at once or for every time you go for it. But success is defined by one who have experienced failure so many times. And I'm grateful that I will say to you that I'm successful because I have failed 2 times for the senatorial seat, but I have won the future of our children. I have won the pride of our country. Thank you very much.
So you didn't answer the second part of that question when we talked about any plans of running 2023, just to be on the record.
2023 is around the corner, my brother. My focus now is creating a Liberia with deserve. It is not that I must be the president or I must be the senator or I must be representative or I must be messenger. My concern is we cannot talk about having election when we don't have an independent judicial system. Our focus is to have the international criminal code, what a criminal code established. With the establishment of that code, when you go for election, our election will be free and fair. But I can tell you, without the independent code in Liberia, we will not have a free and fair election. That can simply say this. The chief justice will retire September, and the president will have to appoint another person of his choice come September or October. And trust me, he will appoint a chief justice he cares about, and he believes that will be subject to him, that will be committed to him. And this president, all of the fragile judicial system we have, that Supreme Court can declare anyone as president even if the person doesn't have any vote. So we want to have a judicial system before we go for election. And I can say this to you safely, my brother Steve and Sekou, Liberians from all walks of life want the establishment of one economic Supreme Court.
So Mr. Kouyateh, I don't normally do this. In a nutshell, you were saying. In a nutshell, I don't normally do this. Before I get to my last question, I don't normally do this. In a nutshell, you're saying you're not running. Let's just cut to the chase and answer this question. You're not running, or you haven't made up your mind. Which one is it? Because all the extra you just said.
I have not made up my mind. I have a focus. My focus is the establishment of one economic Supreme Court. My focus is not who become president of Liberia. My focus is to create the atmosphere for us to have a president, a responsible president, so that we can have Liberians can have the free way to elect whoever they want to elect. So that is why I'm focused on the one economic Supreme Court.
Thank you so much. Let me get you my last question really quick. From your record, from your past records, which I admire a lot, you seem to be a straight shooter or go-getter. You don't fool around. You don't mince your words. You take positions. You stick with it. I love that about you. I'd have to admit in the public, I haven't seen most of the Liberian politicians behave like you. And I like that about you. Where's my question? Come 2023, you are a politician. You would be supporting a candidate or a party. What would be your criteria to support a candidate? Thank you.
I can tell you, as soon as the one economic plan is established, I will come and give my view about who I will go for or what I will go myself.
All right, thank you. Sekou, back to you.
I like Sheikh. Sheikh is smart. Yeah, so Sheikh, I want to say thank you again for coming on SKTV. We will really appreciate having another conversation. The fact that we did not start this on time, perhaps you will be in a better place the next time. And if not, what we did today, we can even do that again from the get-go. If you are still going to be busy, you're going to be where signal will not be too good, we can do the same. But yeah, but I want to say thank you once again. I want to give you the opportunity to make your closing statement.
Thank you so much, Steve, and thanks, Sekou. Thanks to our listening audience. Liberia is all we have. The World Economic Supreme Court will be an instrument to serve as deterrent for good governance of our country. I encourage every Liberian. Liberia is all we have. Let us not divide ourselves based on political differences. Let us not divide ourselves based on tribal differences or religious differences. Our nation, Liberia, is henceforth the land of liberty. So let's support ourselves. Let's be proud of who we are. Let us jointly and collectively call for the establishment of one economic Supreme Court. Don't say my brother's involved, my cousin's involved. The justice given today will serve as reference for us tomorrow. May God bless you and God bless Liberia. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kouyateh. We appreciate it. And we will see you again here.
Thank you.
All right. So, Steve?
Well, folks, tomorrow we'll be on, as we said earlier on, to dive into the Lofa County election, considering the election is on Tuesday.
Somebody complained about you here. Somebody complained about you to be in my inbox.
Okay, what is it?
That you mobile the thing so behind you can be like the way my own looking. But why Steve always, person says Steve not even taking anything serious. Say man, that may be studio, man. The man can be the thing that is trying a house there, not in studio. So I tell the person forget it. I will deal with the man after the show. But me, I can't hold it all the way behind. I want to tell you right now. So try try to make sure to take care of that right now.
That's a good recommendation.
And
To
another person say too, they may not be bringing Barcelona t-shirt. Here. They may not bring t-shirt. Like bring, maybe Real Madrid or different t-shirt. But Barcelona t-shirt, they may not be coming. Another recommendation there again.
okay, I take the recommendation.
Yeah, you agree with it, right?
Yes, I take the
Okay.
recommendation.
No Barcelona t-shirt.
No, we'll work on it. I'm not making any commitment, any promises here today. We'll work on it. Let's digest the recommendations, then we can work on it.
Okay.
So thanks to the viewers, thanks to our listeners for your feedback. We love the feedback from you guys. Definitely we do. Another thing tomorrow will be on. We got to talk about the Lofa County election and the impact. Tomorrow we will be on talking about it just before the elections, and we'll go into some great news and some details here. So please tune in tomorrow. Thursday will be on. Friday will be on for mental health and wellness. We want to apologize to you for not being on yesterday. It was so on Friday. It was so busy. We had a lot of different meetings and stuff, but we've scheduled ourselves. We'll be back. I think Deconti will be returning. We have conversations with other people that want to come on mental health and wellness show as well, other professionals and just other Liberians, who want to share the story. We're talking today in the back. Once we get the green light, we'll let you know and we'll come to the conversation. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Kane. Back to you.
I know. So
You have a good afternoon, my people.
so what happened? So my complaint to say you let CDC some business. I
Yeah,
call
but
it some.
Saturday Night King,
I don't call it sunset.
Saturday Night,
Somebody complain. I say, that Steve leading CDC because you can play.
yeah, that country giant. Country
Yeah,
giant.
because he left Control Giant too much. He say
Yeah,
maybe he's leading
our leaning Liberty Party, but with the Halu Balloon Liberty Party, I decided to lean to one man boy that Kase, but he only has the rest. So we're still discussing his the rest situation. But he will be in other news tomorrow, anyways. Just so we know. But
Okay, but before we go though,
mhm.
who's gonna win in Lofa County?
Mr. Kane, we don't want to give the people the gist today. We don't want to give the people the insight, then they will not come tomorrow. But let me say something.
Okay.
Let me say something. If the opposition weren't just worried, they weren't concerned about Lofa County, they wouldn't have the big guns that they have in Lofa County today. But tomorrow, we'll talk about the impact of those who went there, whether it is plus or four. Because you can't say 1 minute the elections of Lofa County is solely traditional. Then you bring people who don't understand the tradition, who don't even know about the tradition, to come and campaign, whether it will make an impact. So people need to think about this, and we'll talk about this tomorrow. Do not underestimate the independent candidate and the female candidate. We'll talk about that factor tomorrow. There is something going on in Lofa that people are not paying attention to. People are only paying attention to maybe the people that came from Monrovia and making noise in Lofa. I just don't been around. Now, I'm not saying that means they couldn't win, but we have to take into consideration certain factors and certain facts. Again, from the last election, the senatorial election, from the last senatorial election in Montserrado County and in other counties, I believe the election of Liberia going on forward, crowd, popularity, does not win an election in Liberia. It will not happen. The Liberian people, they're not stupid again.
Okay. So even though we dig deeper tomorrow,
Yes.
I have a concern.
Please.
Ambassador Joseph Nimabaka said that he doesn't trust the National Election Commission,
Right.
especially the people who are there right now.
Right.
So why go into the election? There is a minister by the people who you don't trust. Was that a statement to have a window just in case. Just in case if they lose the election, they will say, I told you guys I didn't trust them. And what happened if they win the election?
Well, that's a great question, Mr. Kenneth. From a
And
strategic,
why go into the election in the first place if you don't trust?
exactly, that's a strategic question you've asked. Vice President Joseph Yuman Boakai has been around the Liberian politics for a very long time, casting doubt ahead of the election, as CDC have done in the past also. CDC has done this in the past also. Creates the avenue, creates an alibi just in case they lost the election. Creates that doubt just in case, because it wouldn't make any sense for you to not trust a process or trust the people who are running the process, but yet stay engaged into that process. The only reason you will be doing that unless you are going ahead and creating an alibi just in case as a fallback. So that is part of the strategy. They are laying the premises for this thing, just in case they do not win the election. They will say that, but also what they have done from a strategic standpoint, which will not work, because we saw Thomas Fala pulling out numbers and he didn't win. So they can't say we pull out numbers in Lofa County, yet you're treating us. Well, there has been a precedent here also that the CDC pulled out numbers and they didn't win. So you see, so they've tied up on their own necks. If I were in the case of the United Party,
and guess what we're going to do tomorrow, Steve? Yeah, I agree with you. You know what we're going to do tomorrow? You know, we have our reporters in Liberia, in Lofa County right now.
Yes.
I think we should bring Abraham on tomorrow for an update.
Most definitely so. Yes, most definitely so.
All right. I think we can call it a day now, right?
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say also, Mr. Kane, for the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like it or not, like Thomas Fowler or not, Thomas Fowler is in this to win. Remember, Thomas Fowler got to save face. Thomas Fowler got to save face. Thomas Fowler got everything to lose in this election. Can any other CDC or any other CDC member, Thomas Fowler, because after his defeat, immediately he shifted to Lofa. As part of a way to rescue himself, he went back to his origin. He went back to his people. He started to make amends. President John Weah didn't carry Thomas Fowler there. You see, these are things that we'll explore tomorrow to talk about it. And Thomas Fowler has been campaigning vigorously before even the 2022 senatorial election. But the other part of it also that is interesting, Mr. Kane, the other part of it also that is interesting, has the CDC set their eyes on Lofa long before the senatorial election that they lost in Monserrato, which was a stronghold? Have they shifted now to Lofa? We'll talk about some of these things tomorrow. The CDC cannot afford to lose Lofa.
All right. Overall, one more minute.
Okay.
Overall, what do you think of the interview that we just had with Sheikh Kouyateh?
Well, I think Sheikh is not used to the style of interview, the style of questioning, where he's pushed, because not only that he's a strategic talker, but he understands the issues. We must give him credit for that. He's been around as well. So he's used to getting a question, having his way answering the question, and moving forward. He's not used to, hold on, we did his research, here is it. You remember when we started to push him? He gets a little defensive and he makes it a little personal. It's like getting off balance. So, but I respect Sheikh. I like him for what he stands for. I wish and hope that most of our politicians would take similar trend, give a position, stick with a position. Whether you think is right or is wrong, have a saying and leaving it hanging. I was a little disappointed that he wouldn't tell us directly if he would run or not, but we can understand the political honor too and the strategy behind it. But as time goes by, we know some of these things will fall in place. We know that for a fact. So I'm not even worried. Just for his answers, I know exactly where he's headed.
All right. So the post.
Thank you, Mr. Kane.
Thank you, Steve. You never disappoint me, man. But
we'll be on tomorrow, though. Tomorrow.
We'll be on. I will be here.
Tomorrow.
I will be here. I will be here, and we'll have our correspondent in Lofa County there giving us update.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Kane.
So Ali, my friend, one of my friends, Ali Keda, was asking what time. Same time, 11 a.m. Arizona time, 1 p.m. Central time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and of course, 6 p.m. Liberian time. Simple as that.
Thank you.
So we'll see you tomorrow.
Ciao.
bossy. Yeah, Jade Ken, I'm when music is bossy over. Jade, bossy the name of the music killer. Bossy the name of the music killer. Bossy the name. I am bossy the name. Jade, bossy the name of the music killer. Bossy the name of the music killer. Bossy the name. Wali yangu mango bossy the name. Muso nyuma ungo mango bossy the name. Mambi bolongo bossy the name. I envie bolongo bossy the name. Ikitu na de bossy the name. Boss. So then gabala US la na kono mo usi ni biro la chair. I am gonna ka. Wala kela nekene tisi tamala. Just go the lamp on no go wole ngadela. I am so nyuma uyongo tela. La be masacha wo lome MBP la. Vesi basini nzini mambi kono uwo dala kala mbenji la bega mako boss. Why you weki bole diananke. Bolo ibala heji ko bake. Samalolo nata anzene kono mbenji la morovia be affair kana ben. Ko bossy dene. Antonio Soare, gine against me manga yako. I bossy the way. KPC, Chico Press movement. Jate the tell. I bossy the way. Jate against Samalolo. Na manager Mr. York. Na bossy the way. Mr. Duke. Na bossy the way. Azaya, ngo merci lile. Atisi yala chomo ngo bossy lile. Udi plem le ngo bossy lile. Mimisto, da jina lile. Journalist ya style ya bossy lile. Madam President, tumba fofana kwenye kama sango bossy lile. Seku kutuku, mande festival chairman a chomo ngo bossy lile. Seku kene, SKTV, chomo ngo bossy lile. Kwenye kabele uruzu, so kama dingo ngo bossy lile. Disa bola bositile, yama bi sanze do bana si ala bositile. Ya telefone wali wo ban bositile. Fane dagbele ti bolo bositile. Nena fola ngo bosile ne. Na ijugun bala mo ne na